Hannah Johnson, thank you for being with us here at the Times of Malta. I'm Kurt Colina, and first of all, I wanted to start this interview with something from year one at the Piro. Um, Obviously, joining the Piro out of college was probably something actually a huge move for you, considering the fact that you came from the US and then you came to Malta, which is a completely different area, completely different community, especially in basketball as well. What were the things that you felt you needed to adapt to the most to fit in?
I would say, first of all, the size of the country. It's pretty small coming from the United States, which is big. So, and I'm originally from California and I went to school in Washington. So I've been to big states and around a lot of places. So just first of all, adapting to, how much smaller this is than what I'm used to. Second off, I think the time difference of where my family was, and it's a 9-hour time difference. So getting used to, when I'm going to speak to my family, talk with them. I've always been used to, being on the same time. So I had to get used to that. And I think obviously culture, it's a big cultural difference. It's a lot different here, even simply by which side of the road the cars are on, which side the steering wheel is on. It was all foreign to me. So there was a lot of things, but I feel I adapted pretty quickly. I enjoy being in new places, and just the experience is beautiful to me.
And also something different from the US here is even the type of game that we play, and especially the college game. There's even certain different rules as well. How did you find that when you came here?
So I actually had the opportunity to play in Australia when I was in college. So, for example, the 3-point line is a little further out here than in college. So, but I've played with that before. And I also, when I was playing in the US, I had the opportunity to play FIBA 3-on-3 at the USA Training Center. So I experienced the 3-point line there as well.
All right.
So it wasn't that hard to adjust to that just because I've had the experience before. But I would definitely say it's different going from playing in college where you're playing like 15 to 20 different teams in a season. And then here you're playing the same 4 teams. So that was definitely different because I'm just so used to playing so many different types of styles of basketball. If it's not a team that's defensively focused, or a team that gets up and down, or a team that's taller, so that was definitely a big adjustment, playing only 4 teams. The pace is definitely different than college, but I've also been able to take this opportunity to help my teammates, grow in their game, because I had a big opportunity to be able to play in the US. So I got to bring my knowledge from there and try and help develop the girls here, because there's not a lot of resources here, obviously, compared to what it's like in America. So I've got to use this opportunity to kind of give back to what I was given in my country.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to ask about this because now you've seen the league. Now you've been here for a season and now and a half as well. So you know what the league is like. You know what the players are like. You played against all the clubs. What do you think you can offer to this league? I mean, what you've offered already as well.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen that lacks here is, one, like the consistency of working hard. I know it's completely different because it's not like the the girls who live here are getting paid. There's some girls in the league who get paid, obviously, but this is kind of a hobby or a sport to some players. And but just, the players who want to succeed, like to go to that next level, to go, I mean, we've obviously, there's been players, Sophie, we have some girls, Julia, Monique, they played in the UK. We have girls in the US. So I wish more girls here would strive for that opportunity, because it's such an amazing thing. And that's, I think that's, to be honest, one of the biggest things I said when I knew I was coming, well, when I first got here, because I didn't really know what to expect, my first year as a pro. So the first year I was here, I didn't really know what to expect. But when I did get here and I realized how different it was here, I said to myself, what can I bring from the knowledge I have in college, or my experience in college, to teach these girls or tell these girls. And it's like, if, I mean, for example, Danica, who plays for DePiro, she's 15 and she's taller than me and she has great skill. And my advice to her would just be like, keep working, because you can get this opportunity where you get your school paid for. Like in America, basically how it works is like Division 1, you get your school paid for, and you get a scholarship and you get money in return. Like, it's such an amazing opportunity, free gear. Like, I had the opportunity to bring over a bunch of Washington shirts and shorts for my players. And because I got so much, we get so much free gear. So I think that's like the biggest thing in general, is like, how can we get these girls to get more knowledge of the opportunities? I mean, and not even if it's in the US, even if it's in the UK, like the opportunities to just grow in the game of basketball. And so I think, I've been able to share some knowledge with my own teammates and even some other girls that I'm friends with in other clubs. But um I think I've been able to bring that, of like that exposure of what it's like to play at a high level in the US.
Now, speaking of this high level in the US, and now something very clear that we can see at this moment in time, both in the women's game and also in the men's game, is the good amount of American players coming from even D1 schools who are choosing to play here, which in my eyes is a very good thing, because as you said, it brings a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge as well. How do you think it reflects on the league, and how important is it that we have more players coming to play here like this?
Yeah, definitely. No, the biggest thing that I also said, my first couple months here, is we need more competition, because more competition helps players develop more and can get them more prepared for the next level. Because I'll be completely honest, I'm a very straightforward and real person, and I will say, like, Danica, for example, she needs more competition to go against to get herself prepared for that next level. And of course, she's not playing yet a lot with the seniors, but if she was, she would have, Cormy and Steph to go against, and who else? I mean, if Ash was playing, if Mandy was playing, like, she would have those girls to go against who are pretty solid, who are girls that I've gone against who are like, wow, these girls, I mean, and granted, I've played against the #1 draft pick in the WNBA. I played with the #1 draft pick. Like, I know good basketball players, and there's some girls in this league who are solid, but we need more of it,
Mhm.
because more competition, I think, prepares girls to play at a higher level. So I think it's amazing that we're getting more foreigners in the league, and to help this competition for the Maltese players to get better. And so, I mean, we have, I don't know how many, but that I know of, like 3 to 4 Division 1 players who are playing in this league, and that's really good.
Exactly.
Because even if, you know if the American isn't necessarily was a starter or whatever in Division 1, the fact that they played at that level and competed and practice what being able to play here and bring that type of exposure is great. So yes, I think the more competition we get, the more it will help the players here to be able to develop, to reach, because that's so important. You have to go, like, and I the advice I would give the young girls here is go against boys, like play against boys. My roommate in college, she was the #1 draft pick in the WNBA 3 or 4 years ago. She always played against boys, and that because they're stronger, faster, like, and that's what the game is like in America in college basketball. It's fast and you have to be strong. So yes, it's good that we have this, that there's more competition coming, especially for the players here.
And now speaking of this, and you were also part of the team which made the Final Four in 2015 and 16, which is probably a very, very big thing, considering how difficult it is for a team to make it so far. First of all, how was that experience? How was that experience for you?
I'm getting chills you saying it. It was really cool. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't that year I didn't play much, but even just being in that setting, and it's like the best. I mean, besides like in the US and NBA championship, being in a setting of a Final Four is like second to an NBA championship. But in college athletics, it's huge. So getting to experience that and watching the talent and and just the atmosphere, like for college, for women's basketball, period, women's basketball, just the amount of people that were there, it was pretty cool. And just it I, I will say we were spoiled. I mean, okay, yes, it was hard work and a lot of sweat and tears to get there, but it was like a spoiling experience. I mean, so basically there was 4 Nike teams in the Final Four: Oregon, Syracuse, Washington, and UConn. So 4 Nike teams. So basically Nike just gave us so much gear. As you Maltese would say, Sheba gear, so much. Oh my gosh. And so like we got custom shoes that said "Go Dogs" on it, just like so much stuff. So it was like it was surreal.
Yeah, I imagine it's quite a trademark for Nike to do this kind of thing, especially in D1, where
Yeah,
where you can say it's like the stepping stone towards the NBA and WNBA
exactly,
in
exactly.
this regard. And obviously, after all of this, coming here to Malta, what were your expectations? And even from your team, what expectations do these kinds of teams have of players of your caliber, for example?
Well, I mean, my first, like obviously my first year um coming, I didn't know what to expect. I knew like it was going to be my first year playing in a different country. Like I really had no expectations. Um and I'll be honest, like for my level, this is a bit lower, like, and from what I came from, and I had offers in Germany and whatnot, but I wanted to come back because, like I said, I wanted to give back like my experience in college and my knowledge, and kind of give back to the girls here because I feel there's so much potential here, and um, there's just not a lot of what it people to help them guide what it takes to get there. So that's like a big reason why I came back, is to kind of like, how can I help these girls? How can I help my team get better? And I feel I have a much better team than we did last year, and it feels good to be a part of that, part of establishing a culture and helping build a culture as well. So there's not, because obviously it's different in Malta compared to where some of my friends are. They travel to go play. They have to be on buses. So it is different. It's different, but I would say it's an experience. And this is a good place for people like myself, people like friends that I have in the league, even some of my guy friends to start to help with their career to get off. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a good starting spot for players like myself and others, even like me and Ruben talk about it. Like he says, he's like, this is a good place for you to start. And then if you want to keep playing, like eventually you can play somewhere else. But no, there's regarding expectations, I didn't really have any. It was just, it's my first year, it's my dream. I'm getting paid to play
Yeah.
basketball. Like that's all really that was in my mind. Like I'm going to play basketball and get paid for it.
All right, and
Yeah.
obviously this is your second year, yeah. But before the season started, obviously with COVID and everything, it's affected mostly everything. But for a sports person in particular, it's been a very tough time, considering the fact that some leagues didn't even know that they were starting. And also after the season ended and when the pandemic was in full swing, you had to return. And but luckily you got to come back when things were calmer, and you managed to start the season as well. How was COVID for you?
It was crazy. I remember last year, well, this year in March when we were supposed to have a game. No, because I coached last year. I was the head coach of the under 19s, and I was supposed to coach a game on a Thursday, and that game got canceled. And then on a Friday, they told me I was leaving Sunday. So it was like super fast and unexpected. It was unfortunate that we couldn't finish off the season, and I was a little disappointed, especially it being my first year. But it was obviously better to go home and be with my family during, especially in the beginning. So I was home for 5 months, and then I started missing it. A lot. I was like, I miss basketball. I miss playing and training. But fortunately I was able to come back in August. It's been weird though, like the I don't know, I still don't know if I like one game every 2 weeks or not. Like at first I was kind of like,
Uh,
I do like it, but then I'm kind of like, it sucks when you have to miss, like you have to wait another 2 weeks to play a game. So I don't know, I feel both ways about it, but I'm lucky we're still playing because I have some friends who had to be sent home and aren't playing at all now. So it and I this is a much better place to be at the moment than in the US with COVID. Like so I can't complain. Um I would say COVID has affected me and it hasn't, because I'm fortunate that I'm still playing and I'm healthy, but um yeah.
and even with the protocols that the league has set, how are you and the team dealing with these? I mean, it must be an added hassle for you guys.
Yes, definitely. And obviously like everybody knows we had some cases in our club, so that was a bit of a hassle. Um and having to get swabbed was every before the game. No, but I mean, I think it's like you just adapt. You know what I mean? It is a hassle, but at the end of the day, this is what has to happen. And as long as we're playing, whatever we have to do, then so be it.
Uh, Now, something interesting that you mentioned as well, that you were the under 19 coach last season, and it's something that's surfaced up even when I was doing my research. That during your time in Washington, you had said that you aim to use your experience to become a coach eventually. Is it still part of your plans to do this?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm still 24, and being in Malta, like it's so I signed a contract with Intersport for a part-time job here. And so like as in sales. So I I'm thinking of exploring different options, but I want basketball to always be a part of my life. I love it so much. I got my master's in coaching. So if that means coaching a young team. I mean, if you asked me 5 years ago, my dream was to be a Division 1 head coach and win a national championship. But I'm also a big family person and I want kids one day. And I've seen coaches that, because that job is so serious and because it's literally, I mean, sometimes you're working hours of 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night and you're traveling 2 to 3 times out of the month. It's a very, very tolling job. So I've learned, I don't know, maybe I want to be more of a mom. And, I mean, I've seen coaches be able to be a great mom. So it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's still, you spend a lot of time away from your family. So I'm not sure, but I still might want to do it. I have no idea. I'm trying to stay in my present moment, but coaching, I wanted some type of basketball to always be there. But I don't know. I might possibly go into Nike or Adidas as the sales, like something on along those lines. We'll see. But basketball will for sure be a part of my life no matter what. If that means, owning my own club team in America one day, we'll see. But yeah, I got my master's in coaching, and I enjoyed it. So last year was my first time as a head coach. I was an assistant coach back in Washington for a season. And last year was my first time being a head coach, and it was interesting. I learned a lot.
Yeah, in fact, it's very interesting that we're talking about it today, because few hours ago, obviously, it would be nighttime in the US. Becky Hammond, the assistant coach of the San Antonio Spurs, actually uh,
Yeah,
made her debut as coach when Pop got ejected. So I
yeah,
think it's pretty inspiring to have
yeah,
someone like that, maybe to
definitely.
look up to.
Yeah,
And now going back to you as a player. Now last season you had quite a great season with 31 point average, 15 rebounds average. It's a pretty strong average for a player here. And obviously it's something also maybe menial, but also very interesting is you also got the first bucket of the league this season as well in the Women's League.
oh,
So the first basket was yours.
nice.
Which is, I mean, if it were me, it would be quite a proud moment for me as well.
That's
So
cool.
now, this season, obviously, apart from the pandemic and everything, the season started anyway, and you guys are playing. What do you think of the season so far? And obviously, what are you expecting?
um I love my team this year a lot. We have a great group of girls, and we have a lot of talent. And as a team, I think we were a much more solid team than last year with adding Monique and Leanne. We have great chemistry off the court. And obviously the first game against Starlights, we were pretty show how we're more competitive this year and we can compete with teams. Um, and then I don't know if you know, but I hurt my ankle the week before the Luxor game. So I had a really bad ankle sprain, really, really bad. And I didn't practice the whole week. And then I played against Luxor. But I was playing on a really bad ankle. Um, and then I didn't practice the next like 2 weeks. And then I played against Hibs and I was still pretty hurt. And then against Starlights, I couldn't play. And then the last game against Starlights, I couldn't play either. But our last game against Starlights, we were solid. It was we played really well. No, I think our team has definitely grown a lot, and I'm excited, for the future of this team. I think we have a good group of young girls who are doing a great job, and I've enjoyed playing basketball with this group of girls, and I just I hope for my team just to keep working hard, and the biggest thing is just believe in themselves. Like that's I think some girls tend to lack confidence here when they have the ability, to be good basketball players. So just, making sure that girls keep confident and keep working hard. We've had off for the last 3-4 weeks. So I'm hoping we just as a team come back from this break and our next game against Luxor on next Sunday, that we just come out and play hard and be confident.
And now maybe something to close off. We've spoken about the foreign players making an impact here in Malta, but obviously something that also you mentioned in the beginning as well. And one thing that I found very interesting over the past 2 seasons, which I've been covering this sport, is the fact that Maltese players are actually doing the opposite thing now, going to the US as well, apart from other countries as well. But in my opinion, going to the US, so far away, so different, as you said, in culture and everything. It's a huge step, but obviously it's very interesting how they are actually they're doing quite well as well,
Mm-hmm.
being there. How important do you think it is for Maltese players to experience such an enormous culture, and even such a difference in their game? And how difficult do you think it is?
First of all, it's so important. I think every player here, I would tell them, if you have the opportunity, go do it immediately. I would tell them. And there's so many different schools and so many different divisions. I mean, there's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, JUCO. But just getting to play basketball in America, I think itself is such an experience as a player, but also as a person. I mean, I think depending on what these players are studying at their university, they can bring, if they eventually want to come back here, they can bring back knowledge here to help develop your guys' country. I mean, they can bring their knowledge from Malta and bring it to the US. Like, I'm so big on taking your knowledge and bringing it other places, and it's like experience. So no, I would say it's hard. It's very hard. It's very, very hard, because you also have to think of all the players who are being recruited in America, all I mean, all over the world, Spain, like there's so many players, there's so many. So you have to have something special about you or something that stands out in order to get that opportunity. So it's very difficult, but it's not impossible. It's possible. Obviously, there's players here that are doing it, but it takes a lot of work and discipline and separating yourself from others. And Malta's a great place to go to the beaches and go to parties, but if you're trying to go play, like, unfortunately, you have to go to the gym instead of going to the beach or the party. Like, that's just how it works to get to that level. So it's very possible, and I would encourage every single player here who is young to really, if they love the game of basketball, you have to love basketball a lot. It can't just be a hobby to you. You have to love playing and working, but it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. And I mean, getting a degree from a university, and not to say a degree from the university here, but I'm just saying that opportunity of, showing that you went outside. And it's also going outside of your comfort zone. You're leaving a small island to go to a big, huge country. And so seeing that you stepped out of your comfort zone to go abroad and get a degree is big. And, when it, not even just, okay, yes, for basketball, it's a great opportunity, but for the future in life, having that on your resume and whatnot. So I would definitely encourage every player who wants it to go get it.
Yeah, I fully agree. And even in what you said about confidence, I think it's a very important step to take in the light of confidence as well. Now,
Yes.
this was really fun, Hannah, and I think I've learned a lot. And obviously, those watching will definitely learn a lot from this. So thank you for being with us.
Of
as I said
course.
in the beginning. And obviously, I wish you all the best for the rest of the season and for the coming year as well.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it will be a better year than 2020. So,
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this.
my pleasure. Thanks, Hannah.
Yes, yes. See you. See you. Happy New Year.
You too.
Ciao, ciao.